Welcome to all platforms, to all groups. I'm Miss Wilson, and we're going to talk about the power of your potential. So let me just get into it right away. Nothing changes until your mind changes. You can change your clothes and still have the whole mind. You can change your location and still have the whole mind. You can change your house and still have the whole mind. Nothing changes until your mind changes. The greatest tragedy in life is not death. Some people think that when someone dies, that's the worst thing that can happen to you. That's not true. I discovered that the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but is life without a purpose. It is more tragic to be alive and not know why than to be dead and not know life. Because when you are alive, you gotta explain what you're doing with your hours, with your minutes, with your energy, with your talent, with your time. You gotta explain, why am I here and what did I do last week with my life? Most people are living as an experiment. I discovered that there are 5 questions that everyone needs to answer to become successful. Now, write these down. The first question is, where's everyone that living got to deal with these questions? Question number 1, who am I? It's a tough question. Some of you think that you've answered it, but it's not an easy question to answer. Normally, I ask people who you are. They tell me what they do. I didn't ask you what you did. I asked, who are you? Some say I'm an engineer. Some say I'm a musician. Some say I'm a pilot. Some say I'm a nurse. Some say I'm a teacher, pastor. But I didn't ask you what you did. I want to know, who are you? How do you identify yourself? You shouldn't confuse yourself with your career. Your career is temporary. That means from you lose your job, you lose your life. Who are you? Second question you must answer is, where am I from? Very important question. It's a tough question. As a matter of fact, human has been trying to answer this question for over 2,000-3,000 years. Today, they even attempt to say you're from monkeys. They talk about evolution. They talk about man started as a slime that became a salamander, that became a tadpole, that developed into a frog, which eventually became into an ape man, and then become a human, which then became a human. Well, I don't know about you, but I ain't no ape or no tadpole. But they try to explain that you came some big bang that caused some genetic coding in a Bissell 6 maybe 100 years ago. All those things they talk about. They try to explain, where are you from? So until you know where you're from, you don't know who you are. What is your source? Where do you come from? Very important question. And the third question you have to answer is, and grapple with, is, why am I here? That's a tough question. Why were you born? Why were you conceived? Why you on this planet right now? Why did you came to Earth? These are tough questions. And the person that's sitting beside you have not yet answered these questions. Because it's a hard question. We don't even like to think about it. You see, we ask that question silently. We don't talk about it publicly because we're afraid we don't know the answer. I mean, why were you born? They say when a man have sex with a woman and he release his semen into a woman, scientists has proven that over 600 million sperms rush to the egg and only one make it. And guess who that was? Well, hello there. So my question is, why did 599 million sperms die? 599 million sperms die so that you can live to come to this planet. Was there any reason why divine creator chose that specific sperms for you to come at this time? Why did you come here? It's a tough question. You didn't come here just to make a living and pay bills and then die. You didn't come here to make a living. You came here to make a difference. You came here to deliver something that we're supposed to have. You gotta find out what that is. You're not a biological accident. So why did you come here? It's a tough question. So the fourth question everybody should answer is, what can I do? What is my true abilities? And this is a tough question because most of the people in this world are living below their true potential. You don't know what you're capable of. Why? Because we have accepted other people's opinion. They muffle your true abilities. What can you do is a question. It's a tough question. So the next question is, where am I going? Now this one has to do with your destiny. Where are you going in the next 10 years, 20 years? What do you see for the next 50 years of your life? What do you want to do with yourself in the next 30, 40 years? What do you see in your life as a future destiny? What's your hope to become and to do in your life? Or are you just simply waiting for the next paycheck? Is your life as short as your next paycheck? Or rather, is your life as short as the next bill you pay? Is there a sense of destiny in your life? So you are not just here as a passing fantasy. You came to this earth because something you need to do that is still undone. Tell your neighbor, I am loaded. Don't try to figure me out. I'm loaded. Now write this down for me, please. Very important. You were created to live life with meaning and purpose. You are not a mistake. As a matter of fact, until you discover your personal reason for living, you will never be fulfilled. You were born, sir, to do something important in this world. You are created for a purpose. You are equipped with potential and desire for destiny. You are loaded with stuff we haven't seen yet, and it's trapped on the inside. Under your fear of people. What are you gonna think? Oh my God, they don't know me like that. You are trapped with fear of people. As a matter of fact, some of your greatest graveyard are your jobs. Nothing can bury you faster than a career you're trapped in. You were born to do something that the world needs. So that's why until you discover your purpose, you can never maximize your potential. I'm going to explain that to you in a few minutes. Your purpose, madam, it's the most important thing for you to discover. Because when you find your purpose, you automatically find your potential. And when you find your purpose and potential, you become unstoppable. No human opinion can touch you when you discover your purpose in life. So I gotta ask this question, right? What is the wealthiest place on planet Earth? Where is the greatest wealth on Earth? Well, a lot of things may come to mind. So the wealthiest spot on Earth is the cemetery. Now, why is the cemetery the wealthiest spot on Earth? Why? Because buried in the cemetery are books that were never written. In the graveyard, we got painters that were never painted. Or should I say, paint that were never painted. Buried in the cemetery are music that we'll never heard. Because people die with music in their minds. What a tragedy. It's filled with businesses that will never open. Some of you have a business idea for the last 5, 10, 15 years, and you are still employed because you wouldn't step out and believe God with that ideas. And the cemetery is going to take that idea from you. The graveyard is filled with vision that becomes nightmares. It got plans that were never executed. The graveyard is filled with awesome, powerful treasure no one has ever used. And if you continue wasting time, you are about to make the cemetery even wealthier. What a tragedy. Why? Because trapped in you is a book that you've been procrastinating on. Inside of you is an idea you refuse to pursue. Inside of you, it's music you never wrote, poetry you never wrote. Listen to this session closely. The cemetery will never get anything from you. You came to earth to go back to God empty. This session, it's all about making sure that the graveyard get nothing but an empty carcass. So make sure that you get nothing but an empty carcass. When Jesus died, he was young, he was 33, but to him, he was finished. I mean, you're not supposed to die old, you're supposed to die finished. But you can't finish if you don't know where to start. Life is not measured by how old you are. It's about what you have left. I mean, you're supposed to die like the Apostle Paul. Paul said, I have finished my cost. I have kept the faith. I have been poured out like an offering. There's nothing else left. He said, I'm not ready to die. He said, you should die not because you're sick and old, but because you ain't got nothing left to do. The wealth in the cemetery is called potential. This word is very important to God. Potential. This word is intimate to God. And we don't understand the word. We missed it. Potential. The graveyard is packed with potential. What is potential? Write this down. First of all, potential is dormant abilities. Secondly, potential is untapped power. Thirdly, potential is hidden strength. Strength that is hidden away.